Hey guys, welcome to Manifesting Better. I'm back with another video and another topic that needs to be addressed. I also have an Instagram account. The link for that is in the description box below. Coaching is also available. The link for that too is in the description box below. In this video, I will be explaining the difference between being delusional and living in the end. So first, let me explain what living in the end means in a brief way. And I know that you guys already know what being delusional means. It's a normal term. But living in the end, what that basically means is that this is the one requirement to actually manifest what you want. Living in the end basically means that I am someone who is living from the embodiment of a version of myself who has what they want and who has what they are going after. So if I am someone who is living from the end of a relationship, then my mindset, my actions, my beliefs are in alignment of someone who already has the relationship. If I am living in the end of someone who has a lot of wealth, then my mindset, my actions, my belief is in alignment to someone who has a lot of wealth. So now I will give you some short statements about the difference between being delusional and the difference between living in the end. Then I will go into slightly more detail explaining these two topics. So delusion is often connected to escapism. Living in the end is often connected to acceptance. Delusion is usually a fear-driven action. Living in the end usually is a love-driven action. Delusion means running away, when living in the end means facing your circumstances. Delusion often comes from a state of lack, when living in the end often comes from a state of power. Now let's go deeper and understand what being delusional means, and then we will go there and understand what living in the end means. When we get into manifestation, we are either facing a circumstance that is opposite to what we want, or we are facing a circumstance that is almost what we want but not fully there, or we are facing a circumstance that is very neutral but we would want it to turn into something. So in examples, it would be, let's say I am wanting a relationship with someone. So the first scenario can be that this person hates me or they have blocked me. The second can be that we are talking every day, we are almost at the phase of a relationship but we haven't reached there yet. And the third one would be where I am in a situation where we are not talking normally, but there is no fighting between us. It's just normally we are not talking. What happens is that when we start getting into manifestation and self-help and the law of attraction and the law of assumption and all these things, we start to learn a lot of techniques. We start to learn a lot of methods. And under the pretense of those methods, a lot of times we are feeling good. So while doing these methods, we are feeling good. And then suddenly comes the physical world in front of us, which is of course not exactly what we want. It is one of those above three things that I mentioned, but it is not exactly what we want. And we are faced with that circumstance, and oftentimes, of course, it doesn't feel good. When it doesn't feel good, we start to face the physical reality, and at that moment is when being delusional comes into play. So a lot of times we are told that you have to ignore the physical world, you have to run away from the physical world, and the physical world doesn't matter. But that advice can often, even though it comes from a good intention, can be taken in a negative manner and in a manner that is not very healthy for us. What that results in is that in those moments, we either try to ignore what is happening in front of us, which means, let's say I'm in a situation where I don't have what I want, but I keep pretending that I do, and I keep chasing that person based on that. Or let's say I am in a situation where there is an issue that has to be taken care of, and I'm just ignoring that issue because I don't want to deal with that issue anymore. Or let's say I'm in a place where I just recently got hurt from someone, and instead of dealing with my emotions, I'm ignoring that I got hurt and I'm just focusing on my end result, or at least trying to focus on my end result. Of course, because I'm coming from a place of feeling hurt, it's not going to fully work, but that's what I'm trying to do. Delusional feelings and being delusional often comes from a very weak place in our mindset, where we aren't able to accept the physical world because we are so scared that if we just look at the physical world, everything that we are manifesting and everything that we are going for will crumble, and it will not happen. Oftentimes, being delusional is dependent on the outside circumstances, because we are ignoring the outside circumstances, but when the outside circumstances shift a little bit, our state of being keeps being wobbly based on that. So let's say I am texting my specific person and like we are in contact and they are texting me back, but suddenly one day they stop texting me back for a few days. And then because I am being delusional and I cannot accept that, I keep getting anxious and I keep getting agitated and I start thinking, oh, what if what I want is not working? What if everything that I'm going for is going to waste? And now they are not texting me, of course they don't love me, of course they don't care about me, and that doesn't work. Or let's say I want to manifest a specific person, but right now we are in a situation where we are just friends, and I in my mind am thinking, oh, I love them so much, and they are not saying it right now to me. And because they are not saying it right now to me, I'm getting agitated. I'm saying, oh, if I'm living in the end, if they are my boyfriend, why are they not saying it to me? Why are they not confessing their feelings to me? What is happening? Why are they acting this way? Why are they right now not accepting my love? Why are they not right now acting like a boyfriend in front of me? Being delusional often comes from a perspective that I need to ignore what is happening in front of me, because if I don't ignore what is happening in front of me, I won't get what I want. But it actually works in an opposite manner because it defeats the purpose of that knowing. So now let's get on to living in the end and what it means. Living in the end basically means that I'm coming from the knowing, coming from that powerful space inside of me, coming from a space of love, and I'm coming from a mindset where I know what I want is mine. It is not based on outside circumstances, and outside circumstances changing will not actually shake my belief. They can make me feel sad, sure, which is okay and understandable and acceptable. But it won't shake my belief, because in my mind I have that knowing that even if there is something in front of me that is not exactly what I want, it can turn into that. We don't have to ignore anything because we can just accept it. How living in the end would look like in examples would be, let's say I am wanting to manifest a relationship with that person, but right now we are in slight contact, but that person didn't text me back. How being delusional would mean is something that I explained in the example before, but how living in the end in this situation would look like is that, oh, this person didn't text me back. I didn't like it. Anyway, I know my self-worth, I know my value. I don't actually have to text them again for them to reply back to me or for them to reach out to me. I know what I offer and I have this knowing that what I want is mine. So they are the ones who will be reaching out to me pretty soon, and till the time that they don't, I don't actually have a need for it. Of course, I would prefer it and I would want it, but I don't actually have a need for it. I can be calm in my self-worth and in my power, and this person will reach out to me and come from in a confident place to me. Do you get the difference between being delusional and living in the end? Being delusional is making you run away from your life. It is making you think that you need to run away from the circumstances, because now your self-worth, your feeling of positivity in relation to your manifestations, your feeling of knowing that what you want is done, is being dependent on the outside world. That is why oftentimes we are so scared to look at the outside world, because we feel that if we look at the outside world, then we will have to accept that some of it is true right now. And if we have to accept that some of it is true right now, it will result in a way which will make me get into a position where I don't get what I want. Like if I have to manifest, I have to focus on the end. And if I'm focusing on there and right now I'm facing this circumstance, how will I do it? Living in the end often is a representation of power. Because while you are living in the end, what you are basically saying and implying is that, hey, circumstances look like this right now. In front of me, these are the circumstances and this is how they look like, which is fine. I don't actually need to manipulate these circumstances in order for my manifestation to come to pass. And I know what I offer fully, and I know where I come from. Why won't things work out in my favor? I have the knowing inside of me that what I want is mine and will eventually reach to me. But till the time it reaches to me, I don't have to get agitated and anxious and connect every opposite feeling to my desire. I can feel bad, that's for sure, and that's fine. I can feel down, that's for sure, and that's fine. But eventually, they are just emotions that are there. how I perceive these emotions and how I act on them is going to be slightly different. So don't get worried. Accept what you are facing. Accept if you are facing a tough circumstance. Accept that you don't like how it feels, and accept that right now you would rather face something different. But also accept that what you want is yours. Also accept that what you want can happen for you. And also accept that eventually it will. That is where power comes from. Power comes from facing the circumstance in front of your face and saying that, hey, I have faced this circumstance today, but I'm not afraid of it. I will come out of this circumstance and I will win in the face of it. Even though it looks very difficult right now, but eventually it won't, because eventually I will get what I want. I really intend you got the message from this video that I am trying to spread, and I really intend that you understood the difference between being delusional and living in the end. I'm taking video suggestions, so please reach out in the comments and just write down your video suggestions. I might not be able to reply to you, but of course I will take your video suggestion into consideration. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you have a great time. Click the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe and turn the notifications on for more such content. Comment down your video suggestions and I will see you guys in the next one.